Hello, 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 hello. Welcome on board. Kindly share as you join. Hi everyone, kindly share as you join, and we're going to be starting momentarily. Hello everyone, thank you for joining, thank you for coming on board. Kindly invite your friends, kindly share as you join. Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Kindly share as you join. Kindly invite someone. Hi Alan, thanks for joining, thanks for tuning in. Hello chair lady. Hi everyone, just in the next 3 minutes or so, we're gonna start right away. Thanks for tuning in. Jerry, we're gonna answer those questions. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I think we're going to start right away. Thank you very much for tuning in. And before we start, once you join, kindly share. This is very important. This is very important for us. So kindly share as you join. Williams, we're in a revolution. So definitely we will have these things happening. But God willing, we're going to know exactly what happened or what is happening. Okay, guys, the tradition of this platform is that we always honor our national anthem, we honor our heroes, and we honor the blood that has been shed on our behalf. So to start with, I'm going to start with the national anthem, which I will play. My device is a little bit disturbing, but I'm just going to sing that. As you can see, I have my Ambazonian pin on my chest. That is how we honor our anthem. That is how we honor our people. And that is how we honor our nation. So to start right away, we will start with the Ambazonian national anthem. So join me as we sing the national anthem to honor our fallen heroes, to honor our nation, and to honor the fight that we've all embarked on to free our homeland. Hail, hail, hail this land of glory. We the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praises on our Savior who granted us a freedom. Allegiance to the heroes who bought this land with their blood. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Thank you very much. Thank you, fellow Ambalanders. Thank you, fellow soldiers of the Ambazonian War of Independence, for taking out time this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are, to join me on today's live show. It's been a while, but we thank God that we're still alive. But before I go into the crux of the matter, as a tradition of this platform, we will always want to send our heartfelt condolences, that our heart goes to all our parents who have buried their children prematurely, to all the families in Bali, to all the families who have suffered the recent massacres in Bali, those in Pinyin, those in Bui, those in other parts of the country that we cannot name, because every part of our country is suffering, is currently been suffering some form of massacre from La République du Cameroon. We want to extend our heartfelt condolences to those bereaved families and to let them know that we are in this together. We stand hand in hand, and we will fight hand in hand until we reach our final destination, which is Buea. We sympathize with the families, especially those families in Bui, who for some reason have lost their own children, not in the hands of the enemy of the Ambazonia, but from their own fellow brothers. It is a feeling that no family can ever take, to know that your own brother was murdered and massacred by their own fellow brother. So we want to send our heartfelt condolences to those families. We also want to honor our heroes in Kondingi. I wish I could give them a standing ovation. As a matter of fact, I want to give them a standing ovation. These are people who have fought tirelessly, They've given out their freedom. They've given out everything. Even in the dungeons of La République de Cameroon, they are still fighting. They continue to show their resilience. They show how courageous they are. They fight in the prisons. When we are out there getting confused, not knowing why we started this fight, they knew why they are fighting. They knew why they started it, and they continue to know why they are fighting. Even in the walls of La République du Cameroon, in their dungeons, they still rise up to fight, to defend the independence of Ambazonia. We want to say kudos to them, and that thank you for the courage. Thank you for lifting up the spirit of a lot of people who have been weakened. Your continuous fight within the prisons have indeed encouraged a lot of people who have lost hope. Thank you very much. So we will just again give just a minute of silence to all those who have fallen. May the souls of those who have departed rest in power. We also want to extend our greetings to our mothers, our fathers, our children, our siblings who are currently languishing in bushes, in various bushes in Ambazonia, because their homes have been razed down by the Turks of La République du Cameroon. We want to extend our heartfelt condolences to all those families who were roasted in their homes. We also want to greet and encourage our refugees in Nigeria and to let them know that we are still fighting, and we will continue to fight until we have given them a safe home to return to. We will not stop until we have given them a place to call home once again. What they left was not home, but we will give them a place that they will call home. Fellow Ambalanders, sorry for that disruption. Just 1 second, please.
Oh, it's here. Oh. Yeah, perfect. Thanks. Yeah. So still, I will be turning off the power in a while. Electricity. No problem. Is that okay? But you're okay for 10 minutes or so? Okay. I'll tell you what.
Fellow Ambalanders, sorry for that. I had, yeah. Thank you for staying back. Thank you for staying with me. Fellow soldiers of the revolution, we all know why I'm here today. It's been the most painful and most a week that has touched every Ambazonian. Those who still have consciences, those who still have brains, we've all been touched, we've all been pained because of the recent happenings in our war of independence in the last week, in the last days that just went by. We are all still mourning, but today we will want to ask some very tough questions, and we'll ask ourselves why we started this revolution in the first place. Fellow Ambalanders, the reason why I came out today is because we've studied the trend of things within the Ambazonian revolution and we ask ourselves why. We've seen the hate towards the AGOFC, towards the Ambazonian Defense Forces, towards the leader of the Ambazonian revolution, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba. And we have this, and I felt it was time for us to ask ourselves some very hard questions. Ask ourselves, why this hate? Why are we fighting? Why did we pick up arms to fight? If this is how we have to be going about with the fighting. Fellow soldiers of the revolution, we have seen the outbursts after the Bui massacre. Even when before we had our guys killed, we saw Ambazonians from all walks of life coming on air, making videos, audios, insulting and calling people terrorists, criminals. People have organized coups. They called the leader of the Ambazonian Governing Council, Dr. Cho Lucas, names, and we cannot understand why they hate. Soldiers of the revolution. Today we mourn the death of over 23 to 24 soldiers that were massacred, not by the enemy that we've all been fighting, but by fellow fighters on the ground and people manipulated by others who sit in their homes and pass orders. But today we want to ask, who ordered for the killing of Fon? Who pulled the trigger? But before we go into that, we want to ask why the killing, the unnecessary killing, the attacks on the ADF, and why Ambazonians will rise instead of condemning it in the strongest term. They will come out to support murder. They will come out to support massacre. We cried foul when we heard about the Menka massacre, what happened in Pinyin. We all shouted. Today we heard that 23 of our young men who are fighting to liberate homeland have been massacred and people come out to celebrate. We heard people ordering for their killing. Before we even get into that, I just wanted to bring out some few things. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba has been one of the leaders in the Ambazonian revolution who has been consistent. Who have been consistent, who has been focused, who has refused to blink. Ambalanders, let us take ourselves back when it all started. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba is a national leader, a leader with a blueprint that has been tailored to liberate Ambazonia as a whole, not a particular part of Ambazonia, but Ambazonia as a whole, because when we want to talk about liberation, we are liberating the entire territory. We are not liberating a particular part of the territory. That is not why we are fighting. Leaders, we have leaders in the Ambazonian revolution. People come from different parts, counties of Ambazonia, from different blocks. And today we hear people like the John Bar Akurus, we see the Bo Herbert, we see Dr. Kwangas, the Chris Anus, or whatever is called, the Sarkos, the Sisikus, and all those people. These are all people that we call frontline leaders. These are all people who say they are fighting for the Ambazonian revolution. But before we go ahead, and the hate all of these people have demonstrated towards Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba. And I wonder if the liberation fight for freedom by just... And I wonder how we fight for freedom. Fellow Ambalanders, let us go about how it all started. Yes, we know that Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, Daddy is where it all started. Daddy is where self-defense itself was launched. Daddy is in Manu. That is the home of Sisiku Ayoktabe. But Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba flew into Daddy and prepared all the commanders that we have today on Ground Zero, fighting to defend homeland, fighting to defend our national integrity, were trained in that headquarters. The mother camp of self-defense was set up in Dadi, set up by somebody who was not originally from Dadi. That is the home of Sisiku Ayoktabi. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba came in because he's fighting for Ambazonia. And all those who are fighting this in the southern zone, in the northern zone, were all trained in Dadi. Because he has a national plan for Ambazonia. Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba was the first person to set up camps in Bechati. That is where Dr. Kwanga comes from. He fought in that area. He was the same person who set up camps in Lebialem. That is where Chris Anu comes from. Chris Anu, who comes out today and calls him a criminal, a thief, and call him all sort of names because he thinks he has a lash mouth. Yes, he was the first person who set up a camp, fought and defended the people of Lebialem. But what happened? Chris Anu and his brother came up and decided to turn everything into tribal politics. They said they didn't want Ayaba in Lebialem. But that is the same person who came and introduced the reason why we were fighting, who introduced them into fighting and defending their women and children. He fought and defended the mothers of Lebialem, the children of Lebialem, and Oliver came and said he wanted everybody out. You saw videos, people saying we don't want any Graffy person here. They should go back to the northern zone. But that is the person who introduced fighting into Lebialem, fought and defended Lebialem. That is where Chris Anu, the large mouth Chris Anu, comes from. And the reason why they decided to fight Ayaba out of Lebialem, because they knew exactly what Ayaba would do in Lebialem. They knew that if Ayaba remains in Lebialem, everything La Republique in Lebialem will be kicked out. But they decided to make it a comfort zone for Lebialem. A comfort zone. They captured ADF fighters. They tortured them in the most brutal manner and killed most of them. The youngest fighter of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, Simole, was massacred in Lebialem by Oliver. And we have heard stories, seen pictures of the level of merciless killing of Olivier in Lebialem. Fellow Ambalanders, we saw them confessing on video, on camera, and you could see that these people or these fighters are speaking under the influence of torture. Those who escaped that torture confessed to the Ambazonian people what happened. But Ambazonians refused to call out Oliver and Chris Anu to shun that evil out of Ambazonia. They hailed them because they were promoting tribal politics. They hailed them because they were promoting tribal politics. And they saw and they allow monsters to grow within the Ambazonian War of Independence. Fellow soldiers of the revolution, I am just bringing this for us to know the kind of things why we are fighting. Dr. Ayaba went to Lebialem and he fought and defended the mothers and children of Lebialem. The same person went to Bechachi, the place of Dr. Akwanga. He fought and set up the first camp in that place and trained even the Sokade fighters. That is a national figure fighting for the liberation of a nation. He was the same person who went he fought in the land of what? Ekomesako. Yes, he did. He's the first person, if you hear about the Moyoka camps, he set camps up in Moyoka, he set up camps in Ekona. These are all places that are not his place of birth. But Ambazonia is his land of birth. And he set up these camps in those places. That is where Ekomesako comes from. And yet, Ambazonians refuse to see somebody who fights to liberate their own people. They introduce tribal politics. When they hear that ADF has done this, they will shout foul. But when they hear that the ADF has been destroyed, massacred, maimed, injured, all sort of things done to the ADF, they will hail those who did those who have done that evil, and they will not want to condemn it in the strongest term. They will want to control, they will continue to do the cyber politics. In the same Bui, before I come to Bui, the ADF, Dr. Cholukas Ayaba, the same person who set up the first camp in Bui, fought and defended the women and children in Bui. That is where Yerima comes from. He is the same person who went to Momo. He fought and defended women from that area. Who are those who came from that place? That is where the Jonba Akurus come from. They fight when they hear that this thing is happening. They will not come out and shout or condemn it in the strongest term. They will support it, and continue to sow that seed of tribal politics in the Ambazonian revolution. He goes around setting up camps, training Ambazonians to fight for the liberation of Ambazonia, not for the liberation of a particular village, a particular county, but for the liberation of Ambazonia. That is how you fight for the liberation of your country. And he does that not because he just want to go everywhere and set up his FACO. I want to talk about FACO. FACO, which is where the Sarkos they come from. That is where General Ivor started. He set up camps. The first camps in Moyoka, in a corner. That is where Dr. Ayaba, with late General Ivor, set up camps, train those commanders that are fighting today, opening their mouth and saying trash about the ADF. He set those up. That is Sako. But what have they done? What do they have to show on the ground? Akwanga is claiming this one. Sako is claiming this one. Chris Anu and his brother are there ranting from morning to night. The boys are there. They're talking. What have they to show to us? That is what we are calling a country. Dr. Ayaba goes about setting up these camps. It's not because he wants to make him, but because the National Liberation Plan does not end within the northern zone or the southern zone. It cut across the national territory. He knows that he has to prepare all these blocks to be able to stand and defend, because if he goes and defend the northern zone alone and liberate the northern zone and allow the southern zone, the enemy will attack the southern zone, and by the time he gets to the southern zone, that which he has liberated will again be recovered. So he has to make sure that everywhere that Ambazonians are, they are armed and ready to defend themselves. That is how the National Liberation Plan works. You don't prepare for one territory, or you don't prepare for one state, you don't prepare for one county, you prepare for the entire territory, making sure that you defend every block within the country, so that once you defend this one, the other is defending, and that is how the national liberation goes around. Fellow Ambalanders, this is somebody that you have hated. You have seen a liberator in Ambazonia, but you choose to promote tribal politics. You choose to promote evil because you see that he's the only person that can actually bring Ambazonians freedom. All the hate that has come across over, all the hate towards the egg of say. What is your reason for the hate? Dr. Cholukas Ayaba, we are talking about a leader who has proven himself. He comes from Mankon, Alabukam. Alabukam has the strongest defense force. La Republique will not dare move to Alabukam. That is a leader. Those in Manu, what has Chris Anu to show? What has Sarkos to show? What has the Sisikus to show? I mean, what force do they have to show that this is a force that I have lifted in my own village, not even just in my own county, but in my own village, to defend women and children? Alabukan has the strongest defense force across the national territory. That is the homeland of Dr. Cho Ayaba, his own village. Cameroon military will not dare cross their leg around Alabukan because they know they will go in, they will not come back. Go and raise a defense force in your own homeland. Go and raise a defense force in your own territory, in your own village. Raise defense forces in your own village and equip them to the tip. And by so doing, we will all liberate Ambazonia. Fellow Ambalanders, I am just bringing these things for us to see and ask ourselves, why are we hating the Ambazonian Defense Forces or the leader of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, Ambazonian Governing Council? Dr. Cho Ayaba has proven himself worthy. He's been persistent, he's been focused. He has fought not just for Alabukam, he has fought not just for Bamenda, he has fought not just for the Northern Zone, he has fought for Manu, he has fought for Lebialem, he's fought for the Northern Zone, he has raised and equipped FACO, because FACO is the Boya, which is in the ambit of FACO, is the capital of Ambazonia. And if we talk of Ambazonia, we cannot talk without talking about Boya. And he decided that because there is nothing in FACO, he will arm FACO, and you have all seen it. FACO was arms were successfully delivered to FACO. That is how a leader fights to liberate his people. He fights not just for a particular part of the country, for a particular people, but for a nation. Fellow Ambalanders, if today we are talking about self-defense, this one is claiming ownership over a particular part of Ambazonia. And you will ask yourself, all those who are claiming ownership over certain parts of Ambazonia, where were they? Where were they when it all started? When Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba flew to Dadi and launched self-defense, Ambazonians almost tore him apart. And they said he has come to destroy Ambazonia. He trained forces and trained them to point their guns towards the enemy. They knew exactly why they were trained. They knew exactly why they were fighting. But those same people who came and shouted, "You have no right to introduce self-defense, we are not yet ready," they are the same people who have done nothing but meticulously bought those fighters, deceive them, manipulate them, give them all sort of money, manipulate them with whatever they could use to manipulate them to begin to fight against one another. The enemy that we train fighters to fight against stands from a distance and smile because we turn to fight among ourselves. Ambalanders, where is his fault? Where is his fault? When each time, let us begin to think about this thing. Each time we plan a major takeover, a major attack against the enemy, enablers, infiltrators within the Ambazonian revolution come up and disrupt the plan. But I have good news for you. The takeover project for Ambazonia stands and it remains and it will continue. So to all those who think that they will come up with the Bui saga to distract us and to cause us to forget about the lockdown in Ambazonia, go back and tell your masters that we say Ambazonia, the takeover in Ambazonia remains and it continues. These are all leaders of the Ambazonian revolution, running their mouth, ranting on Facebook, ranting on paper, all sort of things. They should come up and show us. I have named them. Ayaba has been the one that has lifted up groups in FACO. He started it. Before anything came to FACO about groups and start fighting and ranting, he started it with General Ivor. Moyoka are there, people are there to testify. Those in the corner can testify that these are the camps that he actually set up. For those that know Lebialem, we know how it all happened. We saw how Simoli was massacred by Oliver and they took over Lebialem, sending out Ayaba because they knew they had a plan to start building their force in Lebialem that will infiltrate our other fighters within the national territory to destroy the Ambazonian revolution. All those fighters, those are people, the Dr. Akwangas, they are there. Where is Okadev? Where are they? Where are they? He got up and attacked everybody. At least Dr. Akwanga has done something. We had the Sokadev. The Chris and what have they done? We have seen Oliver come up massacre people, fellow fighters, killed and buried them mercilessly. We have all those things. We have the proofs. When we don't say things, it's not because we don't say them. But if you think you have a loud mouth that you can go sit on TV and call people's name, discredit people's credibility because you want to say your false agenda and fulfill your master's agenda in Ambazonia, we want to let you know that we have evidence. We have proof of things that you've done. Fellow Ambalanders, all those sitting quiet, who call themselves leaders, who cannot come out and condemn evil, let them come up and tell us that we did this. If you are truly fighting for Ambazonian independence, let the boys come and tell us what they've done in their in the camps that they've set up in their counties. Let the John Ba Akuru come out and tell us what they've done in Momo. Let Chris Anu, apart from his ransom-taking group with his brother and the killing, the mercenary killing that they do in Lebialem, let them come out and tell us what they've done. And you go about hating somebody who has sacrificed his life, even fly down to the territory to train people, children, fighters, to be able to deliver Ambazonia and give your children a free home. Chris Anu, because the Isa Chiruma of Ambazonia, who thinks because he has a loud mouth, he can speak, he can talk anyhow, sit on TV and call people terrorists and all sort of names. Ambalanders, I will be going step by step. Let us talk about the Bui incident before we come to ask the question, who killed Commander Fon. To those of you, especially the AGOVCs and the ADFs, Ambalanders who contributed to the PIN project, you were angry, asking question why we didn't fire back. And we are just asking, the Bui incident, how did it happen? Our general walking to Bui, Ambalanders, we've all heard the story. They claim he was going there to attack and kill Chacha. In your own mind, Ambalanders, in your mind, who goes to kill somebody and goes about doing announcement of his coming? We all heard that the general went and had rest with other camps, discussed with other camps, called even another commander, Commander Rambo, to come and collect materials from him. Who goes in a killing mission and announce that he is coming? Even when the general heard that there was a planned ambush, what did he do? General Efan called the leadership of the Ambazonian governing council and told them that they should tell those who are controlling Chacha, the leader, Elvis, whoever he was, that his mission is not to attack Chacha. He has another mission. He just wants to pass through. If you are going to kill somebody, why will you be announcing you're coming, announcing to other people that you're coming? And why will you carry such level of ammunition to go and attack somebody? Then when you see the person who is carrying den guns, you carefully drop down your weapons and surrender to that person. Ambalanders, who in their right senses does that? If they were going to attack Chacha, we all know what happened. They got close to Bui in the night. If they wanted to attack Chacha, they would have struck him in the night. But they refused to go through in the night. They spent the night in another commander's camp, got up in the morning and continued their journey, because their journey was for a mission that had nothing to do with Chacha. They called other commanders. We've all heard the videos, the audios, where the commander is explaining that he even had to investigate, call Commander Fawn, call a couple just to confirm that these people are coming. Another commander escorted them to this one. And who goes on a mission to kill somebody? and will announce his coming. And beside Ambalanders, who is Chacha for the love of God? Who is Chacha that will remove the supreme commander of the Ambazonian Defense Forces to go and neutralize? Who is Chacha? It would take just a new recruit of the ADF to silence the guy if that is what the mission was. And who goes about announcing his mission to the entire world? Once you make an audio and send out, the whole world will hear it. Fellow Ambalanders, to those of you, mothers, women who are from that community who ordered the killing of those fighters, let it just be known to you that their blood will not go unpunished. That is one thing for sure. Their blood will not go unpunished. To our fellow AGOFCs and those who have contributed their money to this, everybody feels that we are weak or that we were stupid or this or that, but we are not. Just imagine if the general, you saw the level of ammunition, you saw the arms that the general carried. Just imagine that he opened fire towards his own brothers and brought down 20 to 30 other fighters. What would have been the fate of Ambazonia at this moment as we're speaking? We would have plunged into a civil war in Ambazonia. But is that why we are fighting? Did we pick up arms to fight the enemy that has occupied our homes, who has killed our people with impunity, who has destroyed our economy, who has destroyed everything that we held dear? Or we were fighting because we wanted to fight our fellow brothers? If the general had opened fire, Ambalanders, what would have been the fate of this revolution? We will be in a serious civil war as we speak. That is what they were pushing for. But like the leader of the Ambazonian Governing Council told you people, they are pushing me to plunge this country into a civil war, but they will not succeed. Because we are not fighting ourselves. We are fighting the enemy to chase out the enemy from our country and restore our independence. That is why we are fighting. We are not fighting because we hate our fellow Ambalanders or fellow fighters. We want to fight them. No, we will not fight them. If this had happened, those who are claiming today that we are weak. No, we are not weak. At times you play the fool. For the general good, for the bigger goal. We have a bigger goal, and that is to chase La Republic out of our territory. Those weapons, don't worry yourself about it. There is one thing is for sure. When you attack an ADF camp, you attack ADF, you take their arms, you kill their soldiers. One thing is for sure, that those weapons will be recovered. They will walk in by themselves and give those weapons, or they will be recovered in one way or the other. It doesn't matter when. One covered. If we had gone into a crossfire with those people, we would have changed the fate of this revolution. We will be killing each other right now, but we played the fool because we knew why we started fighting. Because we know why we are fighting. Fellow Ambalanders, all those people who were pushing us to open fire towards our fellow fighters, they have virtually nothing to lose when it comes to this revolution. They have virtually nothing to lose. They wanted us to open fire and begin to fight each other so that La Republic agenda can be fully fulfilled in our territory. They have nothing to lose. They will be the Ambazonians who think we are weak today will be the same people who will come up and say, why didn't you hold back? You hold this revolution. Without you, the AGC, the ADF, this revolution would have failed long time ago. Why didn't you use your leadership to hold back and know that without you, there will be no Ambazonian War of Independence? Fellow Ambalanders, how many times have we been attacked? How many times have the ADF been attacked? The leadership of the Ambazonian Governing Council, how many times have we been attacked? But where are we? We are still standing strong. We are waxing strong. The ADF remains the national army. The ADF remains the strongest force on the ground. The Ambazonian Governing Council remains the only organization that is well structured and well equipped for this revolution. The leader of the Ambazonian revolution, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, remains strong. We have not faltered. Nothing has been taken away from us. Nothing at all. What they took from us is just like, what can I describe it? It's nothing for the Ambazonian Governing Council or the ADF. It's just like you've poured out a glass of water from an ocean. The ocean will not even feel its impact. That is how the Ambazonian Governing Council operate. We spend sleepless nights, not sleeping. People work 24/7 to put down their money to equip the guys on the ground. What we have that has not entered the territory, I'm sure if you Ambazonians, you see it, you'll begin to ask yourself, how did this happen? No. How this happened is just that we have a leader. We have the leadership. We have the people who have devoted themselves and their life to make sure that Ambazonia is liberated. They give in their all. They sacrifice everything they have to make sure that we have weapons on the grounds to liberate homeland. And to those of you, what they took from the ADF is completely nothing. ADF is still strong and healthy. We are still working. We still remain the strongest force on the ground. They have taken things from us. They took the RPGs. They took other guns from us. We thought, yeah, these are fighters who want, maybe they do not have guns. They want to get guns for themselves. They took it. What are they doing with it? Nothing. They took it into their dressing rooms. They don't even know how to use the RPGs. We don't know if they still have them. They've sold it to La Republic. But ADF still continue to stand strong. I want to talk about the video that came out and people were making noise. Prepared. Fellow Ambalanders, I have no idea what happened. Everything just went black. So light have gone off it also, so it's completely insane. But however, we're going to continue. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for still being here with me. As I was saying, I don't know what I was saying. Yes, I was talking about the video that went viral. And we heard people saying, look at military weapons, look at military uniforms, look at military bags. We have GPS on it. And still we didn't see any picture of any GPS. And we keep wondering and asking ourselves if GPS are invisible devices that cannot be seen or cannot be touched. Ambalanders, the most made me feel so sorry for Ambalanders or towards some Ambazonians is the fact that people were just pushing it and saying, look at this. These are weapons bought by La Republique du Cameroon. That shows that we are not even prepared. These are people who are not even prepared. They don't understand the magnitude of what we are involved in. Because if you are at war, if you are fighting an enemy like La Republique du Cameroon, you will know that you don't just need what you saw. You need more than what you saw on those pictures to fight a brute force like La Republique du Cameroon. Yes, the AGC and the ADF, they prepared themselves because they knew the enemy they were facing. When they declared, when Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba flown to Dadi and declared self-defense, he knew exactly what he was doing. and declaring that and launching self-defense, Ambazonia, he knew that he owed the Ambazonian people, he owes the fighters on the ground, the people he's recruited to fight to defend the national integrity of Ambazonians, those materials. When the ADF said they are the national army, they were saying so not because they just want to go about bluffing, but because they knew that they needed to weaponize all those fighters, replace the den guns. That is why the AGOFC has fought tirelessly, has stretched its members, has stretched goodwill Ambazonians tirelessly to bring out from them every token so that they can buy and provide to our fighters materials that they can use to fight the brute force of La République du Cameroon. Ambalanders, you saw weapons and you were surprised and you were calling Cameroon's weapon, and I'm asking myself, if you are calling weapons from La République du Cameroon, what in the name of God are you doing? What are you doing? Because it's obvious you are not prepared to fight this fight. Because if you were prepared to fight this fight, you will know nothing. That is nothing compared to what you need to fight an enemy like La République du Cameroon. AGC, ADF are a force that they are prepared to fight the enemy. And that is just a tip of an iceberg compared to what is coming. I feel so sorry for those people, because when you see what will come in, we came out and we said contribute, buy the pins, because we want to take over Ambazonia. It wasn't bluffing. It wasn't the noise that others make on Facebook. No, we don't just talk, we act. Your every dollar, your every penny, whatever that you have given to us, you saw it for yourself in those videos. That is what we do. We don't collect your money and squander it and rent homes and buy new cars and travel and leave our homes and start lodging in hotels and claiming that there is security threat in our homes. We invest it on ground zero. We invest it on ground zero because ground zero is what matters to us. Ambazonia is what matters to us. Fellow Ambalanders. We heard Chris Anu came out and was shouting that B uniforms and all. Who are we deceiving? Where are their brains? For the love of God, does it mean that when they're coming out to talk, they don't think? Because Ambalanders, we all know it. There was a day that we have pictures of a Field Marshal crowned as the overall general of Ground Zero, standing behind Sako as the overall general of Ground Zero, and you could see him with Cameroon military uniforms with bees on a B uniform, and that is his brother. Nobody can talk about it. They say that is we are agents of La République because we have weapons. Why wouldn't we be agents of La République if you have collected money from Ambazonians to weaponize our soldiers and you squander the money? Why wouldn't we be agents of La République if use the few dollars that have been given to us to make sure that Ambazonians get freedom? Ambalanders, I want you all to begin to ask yourself questions. All those that are claiming and calling Ayaba agent of La République, why are we fighting if we are unable to arm our guys? It's the same thing that some came out. They were so shocked when they saw this video. They were asking themselves, how can we have this level of ammunition? That is because those that they've entrusted their money in, they don't even have den guns to show for. But the little that you've entrusted in our hands, we've been able to provide to our fighters what they need. We didn't provide those guns to those fighters to turn around and fight their fellow brothers. Because if they were to fight their fellow brothers, we will be in a civil war today. But because they are trained to fight the enemy, they carefully, humbly lay down their arms. And some of you think we are weak. We aren't weak. We aren't weak. We are just focused. The bigger goal. When 1st October came, 1st October 2019, those of them who have squandered millions of dollars because they couldn't provide anything on ground zero, they were surprised when they saw the military parade in Kumbu. the level of guns that the ADF fighters were holding. They thought they are seeing the U.S. military Air Force marching in Ambazonia, but these are boys that have been trained. These are boys that are carefully trained, and they've been weaponized by the sacrifices of people within the Ambazonian Governing Council, those in the ADF, and good we Ambazonians who believe in the independence of Ambazonia. So to all of you who have contributed money through the PIN project, we said we were going to arm FACO, and you heard us the other day giving you report that FACO has been successfully supplied. Few have been given and more will be coming. You gave us those money to buy weapons and fight the enemy, not to fight your fellow brothers. So if somebody tells you you are weak, you aren't weak. You are just a sensible Ambazonian who has refused to spill the blood of your fellow fighter who picked his weapons to fight, who sacrificed his life to fight for the revolution. But like I said before, if you attack the ADF and think that is it, you're wrong. Because we are definitely going to get back those weapons. It doesn't matter how long, we will get it. You will carefully bring back the weapons by yourself. You will walk into our camps and deliver the weapons by yourself, or we will get it. But we won't spill your blood, but we'll get the weapons. You attack the ADF and you think that is it. It is not. You will get back the weapons. Ambalanders. ADF remains the strongest force on ground zero. The weapons you saw, those are not the national weapons of the Ambazonian Defense Forces. That is just a unit of the Ambazonian Defense Forces. La Republique's plan was to use this and distract us from the elections in Cameroon, in Ambazonia, that Cameroon is planning in Ambazonia. And let's talk about that election. Fellow Ambalanders, fellow soldiers of the revolution, I just want to bring this information to you again. It is official that from the 7th to the 12th of next month, there is a complete lockdown in the territory. Like the leader of the Ambazonian Governing Council will tell you that not even a fly or a mosquito is permitted to move around on those days. There shall be a complete lockdown in the territory. Make sure you feed, you stock your homes. Make sure whatever that you need, that needs to be taken from the shops or from the supermarkets or wherever that you get your groceries, make sure you get them and stock your home. On the 6th should be your last day that you're stepping out. And those of you who think that can be deceived with 1,000 francs or 5,000 to go and vote, this is the advice we have for you. Stay home. Don't push people into spilling your own blood. Stay home. We advise you to even keep your dogs back at home. Tie your dogs, tie your cats. Those of you who are lovers of pets at home, because anything that moves within the territory during those days will be killed. So it is advisable that you keep your pets at home. Keep them at home. We are getting information that may be funny to you, but we hear La Republic people turn into dogs these days and cats, and they can turn into those dogs and move around in the territory and appear in. So if we see those, we'll kill them. So what you should do is that keep yours at home. Make sure that yours is safe. So whatever we see on the street that day will not be an Ambazonian dog or Ambazonian cat. It will be La Republic that has turned into a dog and a cat, then we'll just finish it. So keep all your dogs at home. Everything, stay at home. There will be a complete lockdown in the territory. The plan for those who attacked us in Bui was to distract us and allow La Republique's planned election in the territory to go on, but we refuse and say nothing has been taken away from the ADF. What they took, like I said, is just like a cup of water that has been taken out of the ocean. We use what they have with them to be able to defend and to shut down Ambazonia completely during the election period. Fellow Ambalanders, we continue to advise our mothers, our fathers in the villages. Make sure you stay at home. Make sure you stay at home from the 7th to the 12th of February. Stay at home because the whole territory will be shut down. The plans that we had before the Bui saga continues, and nothing from happening. So be advised, stay at home. Don't be hungry to go take 5,000 or 2,000 to vote and lose your life. Stay at home. Keep your children safe. Ambazonia will be locked down. And to every international organization working within the territory, we are advising them to stay at home and also suspend their activities within this period. Letters have been sent out to international organizations working within the Ambazonia to know that there will be a complete lockdown of the territory during these days. Continue to advise them, especially that I am having communications with them, to disseminate this information to their respective sub-organizations that are working with. We also want to bring this to the attention of the international communities or international organizations working within the community, that we have had persistent and consistent information that La République du Cameroon is using international organizations' logos and emblems entering into the territory to gather intelligence that has led to the killing and burning down of many villages in Ambazonia. So we are advising all the international organizations to be careful with their emblems, to be careful with their logos and anything that has to do with them that has been used, that are known to the fighters on the ground that normally give them safe passage to go into the territory for humanitarian assistance, that they should be careful, because if Cameroon continues to use their emblems, to use their names, to go into the territory, to kill our people, burn down our communities and burn down our villages, we will be forced to react. Before I go to the tough questions we wanted to ask about fun, I have a simple message I want to pass across to Commander, or is it General Chacha? General Chacha, if ever you will hear this, I have this little advice for you. You are a general that you've fought your way through to become who you are today. You started within the Ambazonian Defense Forces. You were trained by the Ambazonian Defense Forces. And today, you lifted your gun against the same finger that fed you. I don't want to come and blame you here, but I just have a piece of advice for you. That whoever that sits anywhere manipulates you and cause you to lift your gun against your own brothers and sisters, my advice is that you will sit back, ask yourself questions, and ask yourself why you're fighting. Ask yourself, you have seen guns from the ADF. People asked you to kill your own brothers, the same people that backed you up when you were battered by La République du Cameroon, the same people who have consistently fought and defended you in the same community where you lifted your gun and shot at your own brother. But those who asked you to kill your own brother, whenever you are attacked, they sit in the comfort of their homes in the diaspora. They have nothing to lose. But your life is in your hands. Sit and reflect. Ask yourself why you have to allow yourself to be manipulated by people who will never take a bullet for you to kill your own brother. And if you know what is good for you, return the ADF materials. Return them to the ADF. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated by anybody. Use your brains, because if you don't use your brains, others will use your brains for you, and you will just be the ones carrying your body. And now to Commander Fon, who was brutally murdered in his own village and by his own brothers. And the question we want to ask ourselves is, who ordered for the execution of Fon? Fellow Ambalanders, I am so... Those of you who know me, those people who come from Quen, those who come from Bafut, you know my story. The death of Fon. The feeling I had when I saw his pictures is the same kind of feeling I had when I lost my mom. Because the way he was brutally murdered was equivalent to the way my mother died. And when I saw that picture, the only picture that came back to my mind, or that came running, was that of my mom. Anybody who knows my story knows exactly what I'm talking about. And you ask yourself, following testimonies of people in Boe, a loving, a soft-spoken, a peacemaker, why will you kill somebody with such integrity? Somebody who has been described as the peacemaker, the most loving fighter, the one who would give up. He has fought for Chacha. He has backed up Chacha. He has defended Chacha. He has defended the sons and daughters of Kumbo. He has defended these people. Why will anybody pull a trigger to him on his forehead? When we look at the picture of Fon, the way he was killed, Ambalandas, even in Afghanistan, we don't see such killing. Even in Syria, we do see such level of execution. The Republic will never do something like that. And when you look at those images and you ask yourself, will you blame Mark Barata when he made that if they give him a gun with just a single bullet and put Chris Anu and Paul Biya of La République du Cameroon and ask him to shoot? And he said he will kill Chris Anu first. If you look at that picture, will anybody blame Mark Barata for making that choice? The question is, who asked for? Who pulled the trigger? If they sat in the council and decided that they should kill Fon, who is that person that ordered for the killing of Fon? Those women who sit and claim an order for the killing of other children. Those men who sit in their homes and said, kill Fon. I want people from Bansor, those from Boe, to ask themselves. It was a council that sat and decided, but who brought up the idea? When the idea was brought up, who voted for it? Who adopted it? And when they voted for it, who is that person that passed that order and said, shoot? Who is the person then that pulled the trigger? You guys should look for who pulled the trigger against your own brother. You guys should look for who pulled that trigger. You guys should look for that person that gave that final order. You guys should look for that person that brought up the idea of Fon to be killed. Because if we do not find who pulled the trigger, if we do not find who brought up the idea, then we will never get to the root of this. Those who have decided to turn the Ambazonian revolution into politics, let us begin to ask ourselves questions. And I want to talk to the people of Momo most particularly, because they have sown a seed of tribal politics in this revolution that has brought about the killing of many Ambazonians. Whatever is happening in Boe today, we can boldly say that it was inspired by the tribal politics in Momo. Or what the Mogamons have been doing. What if Boe today is fighting and killing one another? Is because of what has happened in Momo. What those in Momo have done. And when all this happened, what do people like the John Ba Akurus who come from Momo, what do they say? Do they come out and condemn it? Do they come out to condemn it and say this is a revolution. This is not a tribal traditional dance and all that. No, they don't. If Manu today, if those in Lebialem will say we do not want graphic people in this place, it was all inspired by the devilish actions of those in Momo. If we are killing one another today, if we are killing one another today because of tribalism, it's because of what? People from these tribes have instigated. The kind of seed they've sown in this revolution. The kind of seed they've sown in this revolution. And we want to speak to the consciences of Ambazonians. Those women who come up and said, yes, we support the killing of those ADF fighters because they have done this before. Ambalanders. Those killings will definitely be paid for. Every Ambazonian life matter. You shout foul when others die, and when others die, you celebrate it. Justice will surely take its course. And all those who promote and encourage the execution of innocent Ambazonians and commit crimes, war crimes, crimes of genocide, they should know that there is something that they call the ICC. You will pay for it. That's for sure. It definitely will take time, but it will sure come to pass. So let us all know that they will await judgment. Justice will take its course. When you condemn the killing of one, you must be ready to condemn the killing of another. Every life matters. Every Ambazonian life matters. Fellow Ambalanders, I just wanted you all to know and ask yourself why the hate against the AGC and the ADF. What has Ayaba done? He has fought for Ambazonians. He has sacrificed his life, everything, to make sure that Ambazonians across the territory are armed and ready for the freedom of their homeland. But others have done nothing but distract. When we came out and launched the Mami Api project, meant to take out La Republique completely from the territory, the Chris Anus came out and disrupted it. They came out and caused the same level of destruction that we've had now, and they sowed the seed of hatred in the minds of Ambazonia and said they should not sponsor that project because Ayaba was a scam. See, today, what have they done? When we saw the death, we say, we cannot allow our mothers to continue to die like this. But after Mami Api, we have seen the same reputation. We have seen how Cameroon has raised down homes with many others killed in their sleep and all that. But if we had pulled through with the project Mami Api to bring down La Republique, today we will be celebrating victory. But internal force, enablers that have been planted within the Ambazonian revolution continue to distract. And Ambazonians, because of their gullibility, because of tribal politics, because of identity politics, they continue to follow into they continue to support people who are out to distract us, to continue to prolong the suffering of our people. The people for my trip to Boya came and asked you $2 million US. You gave them. What did they do? Not a single stick. They don't have. It's why they will plot and destroy others to get sticks. That is fine. But what do you do with these sticks? What do you do with the sticks? When we launch the other project, when we launch another project to completely take out La Republique from Cameroon, from our the 300,000 that we were asking for, they came out with more distractions. When we planned for 2018 election to stop election completely in Ambazonia, they plotted and took out General Ivor because they knew General Ivor was a force to reckon with. When each time we plan a major project to take out La Republique from our territory, those who have turned the Ambazonian revolution into a business farm, those who have turned the Ambazonian revolution into a bank account where they continue to feed their bank account with, they come out with schemes to distract Ambazonians, sow the seed of hatred in the minds of people, and allow La Republique to celebrate victory while our people continue to die. General Ivor they plotted and took out General Ivor, planning a complete lockdown for Ambazonia during the 2018 election. Today, General Efang, who has been going across the national territory distributing materials for the complete lockdown of Ambazonia, was plotted. They plotted and killed him the same way they killed General Ivor. Just to give La Republique, just for La Republique plans to continue to just to give La Republique victory and continue to celebrate, prolong the Ambazonian revolution so that they can get money for themselves. Fellow Ambalanders, open your eyes. Allow your brains to reason. Allow your brains to reason, fellow Ambalanders. Use your brains. And all those who are sent on social medias and those that are saying rubbish under my post, I'm going to block you immediately after I finish this. All those who are sent to filter nonsense and rant on Facebook, your consciences, those people that you go out, that project that you distract and they continue to kill our people. In the past weeks, we have seen the number of communities that have been raised down. We saw people killed in their sleep. We saw massacres by La Republique du Cameroon before that which is done by our own people. And those of you who go about pushing the project of trying to smell the egg of say and the ADF, calling them La Republique Army, because you want to destroy the presence of the ADF, because it is the ADF that has refused to succumb to all the bribery and everything that La Republique is doing with other forces. And you think if you take out the ADF, then there is no, La Republique will have its way in Ambazonia. I have good news for you that the ADF will never fall. The ADF is the national army, is the people's army. No matter how many weapons you take away from the ADF, we will replace it because we believe in the liberation of Ambazonia. We believe in the liberation of Ambazonia. And those of you who are prolonging the suffering of our people, the tears of those mothers in the bushes will begin to haunt you. Those of you who each time we come out with project, you come to distract it, you will pay a price for it. You will pay a price for it. For those children who have stopped going to school, for those mothers in the bushes that we are fighting to return back into their communities, for those of you who cause new communities to be burned down, girls raped, people killed, you will pay for it someday. You will pay for it. Fellow Ambalanders, sit and reflect. Sit and reflect. We asked you for money from the National PIN project. You have seen for yourself. Each time we come up, we raise money by ourselves behind the scenes. We buy weapons to defend your mothers and your fathers, your siblings that are sitting home. But some of you find pleasure in coming out to insult those people who spend sleepless nights fighting for your liberation. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. All those thugs, all those Facebook fake accounts who come and say utter trash under people's posts and say all sort of nonsense. You should all be ashamed of yourself. And Nemesis will catch you all. Fellow soldiers of the revolution, Ambazonia is our homeland, and we will fight, and we will continue to sacrifice our hard-earned monies to make sure that our fighters on the ground are armed to the teeth to fight the sophisticated weapons of La Republique du Cameroon. That is what we will do. If you thought the lockdown project will not continue because of what happened in Boeing, then you have to think again. Like I said, keep your dogs, even your cats, anything at home, because whatever moves the street will be destroyed. stay at home and be safe. Stay at home and be safe. Those of you who are trying to plunge Ambazonia into a civil war, we are smarter. Liberation of Ambazonia factor all these things. We knew wolves will come in our midst in sheep clothing. We knew it all from the beginning, and it was all factored. Dr. Ayaba still stands. The egg of CC stands. The Ambazonian Defense Forces still stand. Nothing has been taken away. Nothing will move us. And Ambazonian will be liberated. All those who collected money thinking that they will come and kill our soldiers. And to those who are planning, I hear they're planning whatever in Bui against other ADF camps. I feel so sorry for you guys. I really do. I don't know how somebody sits in the diaspora, calls you on the phone, and tells you, go and pull a trigger on the head of your brother, somebody you grew up with, somebody you speak the same local dialect with, somebody you play football with when you were growing, somebody you walk together to school, somebody that you went together to the farms with, somebody that you go out together to have a drink, somebody that I don't know how you can possibly pull a gun at a person like that because somebody tells you to pull it. The same person whose family is abroad, the same person who sleeps in a heated apartment or in an air-conditioned apartment, the same person who has 3 meals a day and you do not even have one, the same person who will have a medical insurance for his family and his children, and if you are attacked, you are left, only God can save you, you left to your own fate, and you sit and take orders from people like that? Who will send you 2,000 to put credit and call them back with it and nothing to help you with? Fellow soldiers of the revolution, you started fighting because you believe in the cause. Don't allow to be messed up, to be manipulated by people who sit in their homes simply because they speak the same local dialect with you. And every woman, child, and order another child to kill another, justice will surely come. And when that time comes, you will come out and speak the truth. I know, fellow Ambalanders, I will not go out. I won't say much about this anymore. I just want, I hope I'm able to cover what I wanted to cover today. I don't know, but no, General Tapang Ivotanko, who has been promoted to the Deputy Defense Chairman in charge of operations, overseeing operations in the Atlantic region of Ambazonia, Mark Barata, Eric Tato, and yeah, they'll be having a show very soon. So I'm not going to take much of your time because we all have to push forward and support this new initiative. So I want to thank you all for your time. I want to thank you all, and I will ask you to sit back and reflect. But we must begin to find out who ordered for the killing of Fon. Who ordered for the execution of Fon? Who is that person that gave the order? Who brought up that idea in whatever council for Fon to be killed? I'm putting this to people in Kumbo, all the Banso people, those in Bui. Ask yourself, who sat in what meeting and brought up the idea for the son of Zor to be killed? Who pulled the trigger? Who voted for it? And who is that person that tied him and executed him in a form that is worse than any other thing? Fellow Ambalanders, Banso people, you begin to ask yourself those questions. Find out who did it. And when you find that person, let justice take its course. I thank you all for your kind attention. The leader of the Ambazonian Revolution will be coming out next week with more details and more updates about the reshuffling of the Ambazonian Governing Council itself and the Ambazonian Defense Council will be brought to you by the chairman of the Ambazonian Defense Council. And thank you very much for your time. I continue to send my heartfelt families that have lost their children. We can even, no matter how much we say we're going to bring back your children, but